When these lines first came to me, I was fishing a Skagit flight, and Jerry was throwing this blue line. I didn't know what it was. I was like, "What is that thing?" I was kind of giving him a bunch of crap about it, and because I loved my Skagit flight, I still love a Skagit flight. The line was so short, and his rods were shorter, and that system needed to be proven to me because I don't take anything, just full on wholeheartedly right off the bat. It has to be proven for me to fully accept it and grasp it. And so he put a rod and a line in my hand, and I had to see it to believe it. And I started out fishing those lines for steelhead, and the river that I fish the most is the Soul Duck River, and that river is very tight drainage where these lines are perfect for as far as tight quarters spay casting for steelhead. And so when I think of the rivers that we were fishing here, same thing, tight quarters. You got a lot of snags around. You got overhanging trees. You got logs. You got you got wind. And with that line, I could go from catching cutthroat, dollies, rainbows, flounder, and steelhead, all in a very short amount of time. I mean, with a really easy switch. If I want to throw a nymph rig on that, I can do that. I can do it really easy, and it's just one quick switch, boom. So the versatility is there. I mean, it's a very easy system as long as your mechanics and understanding the physics of the whole thing stay proper.
When we start our sweep, from the sweep to the end of the forward casting stroke, there is no conscious stopping of the rod in the backstroke. We're just coming all the way around. And we believe that it's the best way to cast a Skagit line. We believe that it makes a Skagit line, the window of what a Skagit line can cast, much greater than the conventional linear stop, then go forward. And that it offers more versatility under conditions of wind and what you can do in the cast. And we use this type of casting. We have used it through many, many different types of angling situations. And our personal opinion is, and our experience is, that it's a more versatile fishing system. It's not just for salmon and steelhead. It works in, like what we've been doing lately is fishing for bass. You can use it fishing in lakes. And I'm not going to sit there and say that it does everything, but the window of versatility is pretty wide for a fly line on what it can do. And once again, we're not saying it's the longest casting line in the world, but the lines fish within most fishing distances, from close to pretty far out, covers many situations from swinging to stripping to nymphing to bobber fishing. About the only thing that it doesn't work real well for is upstream dry fly fishing, and at least in my experience so far. Who knows, maybe someday we'll figure out a way to do that too. So, but for right now, if you're swinging or you're doing strip retreat type retreats, everything's based around that line for us, to be as versatile as possible with one rod, one line system.
When you stay within yourself, everything goes as it should, and that's the beauty of those lines. You stay within yourself with constant motion, it's gone. I'd love to cast a super long line, but I don't fish the Thompson and the Skeena River every single day. It'd be nice, but I fish the coast. I used to fish a 14-foot rod for kings, and that was great. Now the rod I like is a 12-4-8 weight. That rod is killer. All these guys are used to throwing these heavy amount of grains on their on their Skagit lines, and because that's what they've always done. They haven't figured in the weight and the grains on their sink tip, and then their casting stroke. Our casting stroke is really tight, and it's inside the box or inside the telephone booth. It makes it so we're not working near as hard, but we're still getting the most power out of our stroke.
I guess some of the feedback from some of my coworkers and friends is that they feel like our recommendations are kind of light from what they're used to. It must have something to do with that shorter length, that you don't need as much weight. I would just offer my own theory that part of that is the shorter the line is up to a point, the easier it is to make an entire motion here, like this, without getting a stop in the whole system. And I don't want to use the wrong term in physics here, because there's some very critical people out there about physics. What I want to say is that from the beginning of the sweep all the way into the forward casting stroke, there's no slack in the line. The line remains, if not dynamic, then at least under tension the entire time. There's no loss of tension between the rod tip through the line all the way to the fly. It's always tension. And that's what makes, if you can keep tension throughout the whole thing, that's what makes the casting take less energy, at least what feels like less energy on that forward cast. If it, in this, the standard linear stop and go, you come back and stop, somewhere in that stop, the line starts to lose, you start to lose tension between that point from the rod tip through the line to the fly. And when you lose tension there, then it's going to take more energy to make that whole system go, because you've got to retension the system before. Forward input of the rod tip equals forward input of the line. So, but if you're under tension the whole time, as soon as you start to move that rod forward, then the line also starts to move forward. And let me just say that again. If you lose tension there, then part of your rod movement has to retension the line before it starts to go forward. That's my best explanation for it. And once again, I'm not a mechanical engineer or physicist, but I think that that's mostly true. So there we go. If you're just gonna spay fish for steelhead and salmon, then I say go. There's a lot of systems to pick, but if I don't know about everybody else, but I like to fish for whatever I can fish for, and I like to do it on a fly, and I like it to be enjoyable, and that's what we're all about, having fun. So not about taking 20 years to learn how to do a proper spay cast. This stuff here, I think just about anybody can do it, and they can do it pretty quick. And have fun. That's the big thing. Have fun.